Hi everyone. A very good noon to all of you. How are you all? Right. So, you know about this ongoing series of ours. You know that we are currently on the 12th part. Yes, 11 parts of this vocabulary series have already happened, wherein I have talked to you about high frequency words and not just high frequency words. We've also talked about some common idioms, right? We've talked about phrasal verbs. We've talked about contextual vocabulary. So, our focus has been to cover vocabulary from the point of view of your management entrance tests, right? So that you do not just know some vocabulary words, you also know their usage, their application, and how to involve them, how to solve them, rather I should say, how to solve them vocabulary questions when they come in the exam, right? So good noon, Pratik. Hi, Saket. Hello, Priyanshi. A very good afternoon, guys. And so today also I have a mix of questions, idioms, synonyms, antonyms, analogy, fill in the blanks, right? So all of these mixed question types, common question types asked in your exams. I have 5 options for some questions, 4 options for some others, because your OMETs, NMAT, ZAT and MHCT, they give you 5 options. The other exams give you 4 options. So you need to be prepared for both the variety of questions, right? So let's see the first one. This is an idiom question with 5 options here. You have to tell me that why is it that one of them is correct and the others are incorrect. Do the others mean something or do they not mean anything? That is also something we'll discuss. Good afternoon, Harshita. Hello, Vaishnav. What is the context of your statement? I didn't say, I didn't, perform any calculations today. Okay. So she did not leave any of her stuff behind when she moved house. Moving house is a correct term, okay? Don't think that this is incorrect English. When you move your house, that does not mean that you've literally moved it from one place to another. It simply means you've shifted from one place to another. Saket says 3, okay. Nook and cranny. What does this term mean, nook and cranny? You often hear it being talked about together, yes? Nook and cranny. So what does this mean? Usually in the investigative thrillers, you would find this term, nook and cranny. Okay, 3 is what most of you say. All right. Virendra says 1. Okay. All right. Okay, Bhavuk. Every nook and corner also we say. Every nook and corner is also something that is said together, right? What does this mean? That he has searched, this is how we put it in a sentence. He has searched every nook and corner. He has searched every nook and cranny. So the meaning of this is to perform a thorough search. When you search almost every place, okay, when you search at, just a second, I need to change the color. Yeah. When someone has looked for something at every possible place, that's when we say that this person has searched every nook and cranny. Right. So this is not something that is used in the sense of not leaving any of your stuff behind, and that's why this is not the answer. Okay. So no, 3 is eliminated. I think 4 is something that everyone must have rejected. To move mountains. When you move mountains, you actually do something with a great deal of effort, right? In love stories, you would often hear this idiom. She moved mountains for her love. That means she took on some tremendous task for her love. She made tremendous efforts for her love. That is what it means to move mountains for something or someone. Okay, to perform great effort. All right. Then, when you're snowed under with stuff, snowed under with stuff. Imagine, just visualize this. There is a person who is snowed under with stuff. So this is our person, right? So the stuff is actually like a mountain on him, right? Snowed under with stuff. That means this person is swarmed with work. There is a lot of work that this person has to do. Okay, this person is overworked, overwhelmed with work. That is when we say that this person is snowed under with stuff. Oh, I can't come to meet you today. I am snowed under with a lot of stuff at office, right? So this is how you use it. So all of these that are there in the options, they are idioms, but they aren't used in this context. So for instance, we don't say moved every nook and cranny, he searched every nook and cranny. Moved mountains is correct, was snowed under with stuff is also correct. Now between 1 and 2, yes, Virendra said 1 earlier, right? Uh, Rajiv is saying 1 is eliminated. Okay, because this person left the kitchen sink, that's why. Then 2 was a choice too, but 1 fits more. No, it is 2 that is the answer. To move your stuff, lock, stock, and barrel. That means you have not left anything. You've taken your lock also. You've taken everything that you held your stock also. And what is barrel? Yes, to move lock, stock, and barrel. What is the literal meaning of this word? I know we are using it idiomatically. So these, cylindrical containers in which people used to put their stuff earlier, right? And usually liquids are held in them. These are called barrels. So to move your stuff, lock, stock. So earlier, people used to have livestock. So moving all your animals, moving even your lock, moving everything that you hold in, symbolized through a barrel. So this person has moved everything. And that is why 2 is our answer. Make sense? Now, to move everything but the kitchen sink is a close option. Okay. It means almost everything. Actually, this is used for people who usually overpack, who carry more things than needed. So, for instance, if let's say you're going on a trip and you have packed a lot of stuff, I look at it and I say, do you really need all of these clothes? It seems like you've packed everything but the kitchen sink. Okay. You've packed everything but the kitchen sink. You've packed everything except the kitchen sink. That's the meaning here. So our this pack everything, take everything but the kitchen sink, it's used when people overpack or when people over carry stuff. So not used in this context. Make sense? Yes, barrel is also used in measuring petrol, correct? Okay. Nook and cranny, yes, every corner of the house, every place, that is nook and cranny, Priyanshi, is around the corner. Vaishnav, exam is around the corner. We're studying for the whole day. Okay, all right. So thinking that you can't incorporate some entertainment during the day, that is actually a misconception that you hold. See, you need study, but you need breaks also. That's what makes for healthy studying. So I think at this stage you can't afford to binge watch something or binge play games. That is something that you can't afford to do, but you can always take healthy breaks. So if let's say somebody is studying for 8 hours a day, then after let's say 2 hours, take a half an hour break. Okay, then and even after an hour, you should take a 5-10 minute break. After 2 hours, take a half an hour break. Then after the next 2 hours, you can take a lunch break, and in that, and half an hour for lunch, half an hour for some entertainment, for some, let's say, light episode of a series. So you can incorporate breaks like this. Studying at a stretch for the whole day does not make for efficient and effective study. Okay. So I hope that helps, Vaishnav. Incorporate breaks in between, very very important for your productivity, for your efficiency, and for your accuracy also in CAT. All right, look at this synonym question. Ensconce is the word. Tell me the synonym of this word. 5 options. Yes. Okay, what do you say? Synonym. 20-second question, this one. Are you guys there? Okay, Shrishtu says 4. All right. Others? More. I want more responses. Come on. Rajiv also says 4. Okay. Pratik says 4. I hope no one has googled the meaning. Ensconce. You can eliminate a little here. So if you see, 3 words are related here. I'm not saying that they are synonyms. I'm saying they're related. Supplant, extirpate, and evict. They are related. When one thing supplants the other, it replaces the other. So supplant is to replace, right? What is extirpate? Extirpate. It is to destroy. Okay, so to destroy something completely, such that you don't even realize that that thing existed. So to destroy something completely, totally. There is another word for such a such destruction. One is extirpation as a noun, right? The other is, tell me, obliteration. Obliterate. When you obliterate something, this is a synonym of extirpate. You destroy it completely. Destroy it completely. Obliteration is the noun. Okay. All right. Then evict. When a landlord evicts a tenant, what does he or she do? They tell them to move out of the house, right? So evict also means to move out. So all these terms relate to something being replaced, something being destroyed, someone being moved out, right? um, However, if you look at these two, conch is not at all related, right? Conch is a shank, right? The instrument that you play, that is played during religious rituals, right? The shell. So conch is not at all related to the discussion, and therefore fourth is our answer. So through elimination, you could arrive at this answer provided you knew the meaning of the word extirpate. That was required. Otherwise, supplant, evict, these are easy words. Conch, in case you've read any such story, which is an Indian story, a religious story, probably Conch could have figured that, right? I learned it through a novel. Okay, I realized for the first time, okay, Shank is called Conch through a novel. Nestle. So nestle is when you nestle into something, when you nestle into, let's say, a bed, you are very comfortable, you snuggle in that bed, right? Ensconce yourself. So ensconce is always used with a reflexive pronoun. If you ensconce yourself in, it could be in a bed, it could be in a bed, it could be on a sofa, into a sofa rather, you ensconce yourself into something, in something. So she ensconced herself in her friend's house, let's say. This person became very comfortable in his or her friend's house. So this person became very comfortable, established herself, settled there in her friend's house, right? That's what it means. Decimate is also, yes, Prasanna, a good word, decimate. Decimate is also a synonym of extirpate. Extirpate, obliterate, decimate, they mean to destroy something completely. Okay, see, if you want to know the detail of this, the root, the etymology of this, see, obliterate has litter in it. Litter means letter. So to destroy something so completely that not even its letter remains. किसी चीज का नामो निशान मिटा देना, as we say, right? Decimate, to destroy something so completely that it's not even its fraction remains. Decimal indicates a fraction only, no, in a way that not even its tiny fraction remains. That is to decimate. Okay. Yes, nestle is related to nest. Correct, Virendra. Nestle is related to nest. Okay. And I hope this is clear now. To ensconce yourself at a particular place, in a particular place, it means to become very comfortable there, to settle yourself there, right? You could even ensconce yourself in a foreign country. Now, this is a very easy word. Give me its antonym. Come on. Let's see. Another 20-second question. Prasanna says A. All right. Others? Virendra 4. Okay. Bhavuk 2. Okay. Very varied responses. What else? 3 responses. That's it. What about others? Who? Okay. When I say that she was exultant, when would somebody be exultant? Exultation is the noun. Yes. When would somebody be exultant? When they're sad. What does it mean to exult? First, tell me that. I think that's the starting point. Exultation is the happiness that you experience when you win something. Okay. So it's the happiness that victory generates. That is exultation. Okay. And exultant is the adjective. So somebody who is happy because they've won something. That is exultant. So the opposite has to be somebody who's sad because probably they've lost, or sad because of some other reason, right? We have to see what options we have been given and we'll choose the best out of that. So I've got 1, I've got 4, I've also got 2, right? Now we have realized that this is a positive word, right? And we need a negative word. The antonym would be a negative word. So energetic cannot be the antonym. This does not mean lazy. Exultant is not lazy. So 2 cannot be the answer. Enchanted means when you are mesmerized by something, when you are so attracted towards something, when it bewitches you, right? That is when something enchants you. So mesmerized, bewitched, these are some synonyms. Now, enchanted, this does not mean somebody is disgusted. Exultant does not mean disgusted, no, or repelled. So how can mesmerized, bewitched be its antonym? So even this is not related, eliminated. Strenuous, strenuous task. Yes, a strenuous exercise, associated with strain. This comes from strain. So strenuous is something that strains you, that puts strain on you, something that requires a lot of your energy, force, effort. That task is a strenuous task. Now exultant does not mean easy. Yes, so even this is not the antonym. Okay, so then what is the antonym? Harrowed or hysterical? 1 or 5? Yes, 1 or 5. Nobody said 1 or 5. See this. When you are hysterical, so let's say it's a medical term actually. Hysteria is a medical illness. So hysteria is in a way a mania. When you become extremely excitable, extremely emotional, that is when you experience hysteria, right? And it is used in medicine also, but today we use it more generally. When you are so excited, when you go wild with excitement or emotion, that is hysteria. That's when you are hysterical. So let's say I am laughing and I'm unable to control my laughter, right? So I could say I was hysterical with laughter, right? So this, can this be the opposite of exultant? Exultant, in exultant also you are extremely happy because of having won something. Here you experience the heightened emotion or excitement, right? Or uncontrollable emotion, excitement. This is not really the antonym. This is in fact not always used in a negative sense. For example, the example that I gave you, he was hysterical with laughter, right? So harrowed is the best out of our options. What does harrowed mean? Yes, when you are distressed, when you are troubled, that is when you are harrowed. Okay, so one is our answer here. Harrowed. So does this make sense to you, all of you? A good question then. Okay, so strenuous, enchanted, these are high frequency words, you should know them. Even hysterical. So hysterical with laughter is a term that I've often come across. That's why that's the first example that came to my mind. It was a harrowing experience. You must have heard this in some context. Let's say someone has a bad experience with an Uber driver and someone is posting that I had a harrowing experience with an Uber driver, right? He left me midway, right? So that is harrow, distressing. Okay. So notice the words that people around you use. So I actually read such a review where a person had written that I had a harrowing experience with an Uber driver, and that just came to my mind. So always notice whatever new words you come across when you read anything. Okay. Analogy. Yes. Recommends is to suspend as nonchalant is to synonym of synonym of exultant, you could say jubilant, right? Somebody who's thrilled, exhilarated, right? These would be the synonyms. What do you say? Easy question, this one also. From those options, was there a synonym given in those options? There wasn't any synonym given in these options, so I don't think any of them would be the synonym as such. You know, something related to happiness had to be mentioned. That wasn't there. Energy is not the same as happiness, so I can't say energetic. Priyanshi says A, okay. But Bhavuk, yes, in case, let's say you were given this question and a synonym were asked in the previous question, exultant, then out of the given options, I think I would mark hysterical. Because hysterical, when you experience this emotion in an uncontrollable manner, so you could be happy in an uncontrollable way, right? So in that sense, I would have marked hysterical, not energetic though. Okay. So I've just got one answer for this. Why? What are the others doing? Tell me. Recommence. It is such an easy question. What does recommence mean? To begin again. Suspend is the opposite. So what is the opposite of nonchalant? You just have to tell me that. Okay. I'll not answer this until I get more answers from you. Okay. D, A, what else? Okay, what does the word nonchalant mean? Tell me that. We have done this word in our previous sessions. This is not a new word for you. What does nonchalant mean? Okay. So when a person is nonchalant, there are two meanings to it. One is that this person is indifferent. This person simply doesn't care. Okay, that's when the person is nonchalant. So she was nonchalant. She was nonchalant about getting low marks in the exam. That means she didn't really care, right? The other meaning is effortless. He very nonchalantly impressed the audience, very effortlessly. I mean, this is effortless. Nonchalantly would be effortlessly. Okay, so deleting ly from here, right? So indifferent and effortless. Now you have to give me an antonym because there was an antonymous relationship between these two. So carefree can definitely be eliminated, right? Agreement, disagreement, this does not have anything to do with agreement or disagreement. So you're just left with B and C. Now tell me which is better out of B and C. Beleaguered or tirade? What is a tirade? An angry, a long angry rant, right? So when you rant, yes, when you are angry and you just vent it out in the form of a rant, that's called a tirade, right? So tirade, rant, these are synonymous. Beleaguered, when someone is beleaguered, they are very worried. This person is very worried. Why is this person very worried? Because this person is surrounded by problems. Okay, so beleaguered means a person who is in a very difficult situation and is very distressed because of that, right? So he was beleaguered with problems. So nonchalant, the opposite is going to be beleaguered. I hope this makes sense. Yes, yes, no, maybe. I need some response. What has happened to you today? Yes. So B is our answer. Beleaguered with problems, troubled with problems, surrounded by problems. That is what it means. Okay. Now, if I don't get responses from you, I'll also just quickly discuss the answer and move ahead. What is the point? I'm doing this for you, right? So, drop is our word. Tell me in which sentence the usage of this word is incorrect or inappropriate. Okay, a very easy question. It does not get easier than this. Yes, IIFT is accepting cat. Yes, that was very good to hear. One less exam for you. Yes, the notification is out. So now we have a date. We will conduct a session regarding this, right? We'll also conduct a form filling session in August mid. So you can just watch out for those sessions and fill your forms accordingly, right? And we have a workshop on the 6th of August. So there also we'll discuss what will be the impact of notification and what your strategy should be, right? 100-day strategy. So yeah, watch out for that session also, right? Now, drop. Which one? Which actually this is a phrasal verb question if you realize this. Drop out, drop back, drop in, drop off. So the word drop can be combined with various prepositions in order to create what we call phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs have a fixed meaning. So when someone drops out of something, let's say somebody drops out of college, that means this person discontinues that particular thing. So dropped out of commerce means that this person discontinued studying this stream. So this is a correct usage and we've heard this usage also, right? I think college dropout, school dropout, these are very common terms. So one can be eliminated. Okay. The horse started to gallop. What does gallop mean? The horse started to gallop. When the horse gallops, the horse picks up speed, right? Starts moving fast. So the horse started to gallop with a higher speed to drop back. When you drop back, let's say my grandmother and I are walking and she drops back. right? That means I move ahead of her and she is there somewhere behind me, right? She does not have that speed. So if the horse started to gallop, then it doesn't make sense how the horse dropped back. So you never pick up speed to drop back. So this is incorrect here. Okay. And that's the answer. We just wanted to figure out the incorrect one. I might drop in for a snack to stop briefly at someone's place, right? I might drop in for a snack. So if your friend comes to your place for a brief time, then they have just dropped in for something, right? Just for having fun. Fourth, although she struggled a lot, she kept dropping off. Yes, she kept. So she was trying to stay awake, but probably the lecture was so boring that she kept dropping off. Okay, so all of the other sentences are correct. It is 2 that is our answer. Okay, all right. So 2 is our answer. I hope this is clear to everyone. Word usage, this is an important part of phrasal verbs, right? This is how usually your phrasal verb questions are asked. So one is through fill in the blanks, the other is through these kinds of questions. And these questions have been asked by Cat also, when Cat used to ask vocabulary, right? So look at this one now. Fill in the blanks, your usual question type for vocabulary. So tell me what the answer for this one should be. Yes. Good, Vaishnav, that you were thinking of taking Snap too, right? Um, I think one other exam, if you want to consider, that could be NMAT, because the exam is adaptive. It will be a new experience for you. It's more speed based. The difficulty level is slightly less than CAT, right? And Narsi Munji is a decent college. So in case you want to consider one more exam, you can consider that too. Okay, you have a choice. How to correct to, okay, the horse started to gallop with a higher speed to drop back. To drop back does not make sense at all here. So to actually keep up with the other horse, maybe there are a lot of horses that are going, okay, maybe they are going to a war, and the horse started to gallop with a higher speed to keep up with the other horses. You know, you want to be at their level, not drop back. So I think keep up is something that you will use here. Okay, what about this question? Yes. So a slightly lengthier question, and this will take you about a minute or maybe more than a minute, right? And elimination is something that will work here because you may not know the meaning of each and every word. But if you read the context, if you read the surrounding words well, then this is a very easy question. So let's see what you say here. That's very strange. Uh, so why you should go for an exam center? No, why are you taking it from home? I don't remember taking NMAT from home. I've always taken it at an exam center only. A, okay, 2, all right. C or D. So I'm getting mixed responses here. I think the words protagonists and antagonists are familiar to you. Protagonist and antagonist. So protagonist of a movie, of a novel, is the hero or the positive character in the movie. Antagonist is the villain or the negative character. So antagonists come from anti. Okay, this has this prefix pro. Pro means, you know, for something. Anti Anti is against something. Okay, so this person is a positive person, this person is usually a negative person, the antagonist. Now, conflict is a great clarifier. In a conflict, the opposing, so when two parties oppose each other, they are not on the same page, right? So they are not each other's allies. First of all, this ally is incorrect. It should have been allies. In any case, I need a plural here, the opposing parties, plural. Contacts does not make much sense. So why do you say B? Yes, eliminated. Then antagonist, protagonist. So if they are in conflict, that means one person is opposing the other. So both of them are not protagonists, right? They are rather anti each other, right? So antagonists, the opposing antagonists not only come to a better understanding of each other's arguments, but are forced to reflect on the dash and clarity of their own beliefs. So something that is similar in meaning to clarity. Weakness cannot be the answer. Vagueness cannot be the answer. Illogicality cannot be the answer. You see this, that I answered on the basis of the first blank itself, but in case you were not able to figure it out from the first blank, the second blank is again so easy. There's only one option that fits: cogency. Cogency means the logical soundness of your argument. Is it logical or is it not? So the logical soundness, cogency, and clarity of their own beliefs. Conflict prevents one from becoming dash into thinking that there is only one truth. So it prevents one from becoming dash into thinking that there is only one truth. Now, these are actually synonyms: bewitched, enchanted, enamored, hexed. All of these are synonyms. Hexes are these, spells that you cast on someone. So if somebody is hexed, that means you've put a spell on them. Enchanted, again, mesmerized. Bewitched, mesmerized, attracted. Enamored also means the same. So these are synonyms here, okay? And therefore you had to rely on the other words to find out what should fit here. So becoming bewitched will be the best out of the lot. Why? Because we've already figured out this on the basis of these two. Okay, let's look at the last one. Does that help? It also serves as a powerful antidote. A powerful, antidote is a cure against some poison. A powerful antidote against intellectual sterility and decline. What is sterility? Intellectual sterility. Sterilization, I think you can associate it with that. What does it mean? Sterile. Actually, this word comes from sterile. So when somebody is not able to produce something, right? So it could be, let's say, a land that is not able to produce crops, barren land. It could be a plant that is not able to produce fruit. It could be a person not able to produce children, right? That person is called sterile. Okay. Also, somebody who's not able to produce something from his or her imagination. So these imaginative ideas, somebody who lacks that creativity, lacks that excitement, inspiration, that person is also called sterile. So here, that is the meaning that I'm using. Of course, I'm not concerned with producing, let's say, offspring here or producing crops here. Intellectual sterility would mean that you are unable to produce any intellectual ideas, right? So you are unimaginative, you're not creative, you're uninspiring, unexciting in an intellectual sense. So it also serves as a powerful antidote against intellectual sterility and decline, since there shouldn't be any full stop here, since it encourages the dash adjustment and refinement of competing positions. So two people are, when are they in conflict? When they're discussing something with each other. So what kind of adjustment would happen here? The adjustment would also be related to dialogue. It will be called the dialectical adjustment. Here, dialectical does not mean the dialect of a particular region. A lot of times students give me that answer when I ask them the meaning of dialectical. So क्या meaning है यहाँ पे dialectical का, अगर हमारा जो dialects या slang नहीं है meaning? Tell me. What is the meaning of the word dialectical here? So dialectic is a word that is often used in philosophy, right? So when a logical discussion happens in philosophy, that discussion is called a dialectic. That's the noun. And here There is a discussion that is happening between the opposing parties, a sort of debate. There are arguments involved. So the dialectical adjustment through discussions, there will be an adjustment and refinement of their positions. So fourth is our answer here. Does that make sense? So quite a meaty question with a lot of new words for you. And what is teleological? That is the one that is left. Yes. What is teleological? Babu, which one did you feel was superfluous? Cogency. See, clear means that you have clearly conveyed something to another person. Cogency is how logically sound is it. Okay, so let's say you may give me a logically flawed argument, but you may have expressed it in lucid words. So it may be clear to me in terms of the words that you are saying, but it may still not be logically sound. Right? So cogency was not redundant there. Inability. Yes, yes. Lack, absence, inability. Correct, correct. Sterility can be used in that sense. Okay. Teleological antagonist, you felt. You are right. When we have said the opposing, actually, we don't need the word antagonist. We could simply say parties because opposing itself has that anti-wala element. Okay, so you're right there that we didn't need antagonists. We could even have said arguers, the opposing arguers. Okay. Uh, yes, teleological was the word that was left. So teleological means it's again a philosophical term, just like dialectical. Teleology. Okay. So when you study something, see, so let's say there is some phenomenon. Now, there must be a cause of this phenomenon. So let's say rain happens. There must be a cause behind the happening of rain. And there is, of course, its impact. Or you could say the purpose that it is serving. Right. So teleology is a branch of philosophy that is concerned with this thing, the impact, the purpose. It is not concerned with the causes. So it studies a phenomenon from the angle of the purpose that it is serving rather than the cause from which it arose. Right. So for instance, it says that we should not really reflect on how human beings came about. Rather, we should reflect on what is the purpose of human beings coming about. Right. So that is teleology. All right. So a very meaty question here. Okay, let's see another question. This is an easy one. Easy words. This is a ZAT previous year question. Okay, previous year question. Yes. And these are your options, 5 options. Tell me which is the sequence of words that would meaningfully fit the blanks in the above paragraph. These are your words. 7 words for 3 blanks. What do you say? Come on. Okay, last question for the day. Tell me. Now I think I should get more responses. Making it the last question for the day. Okay, I've got one response. Others? 5. Okay, C is what you say. All of you seem to say C, which is 3, 4, and 6. I think grammar also helped you here. Yes? Yet the change of attitude may be somewhat. If you look at 1, 3, 4, and 6, let's look at 1, 3, 4, and 6. Where is 4? Okay, I've marked it. 6 cannot come here, eliminated. 4 cannot come here, eliminated in the first blank. So you can't end a sentence by saying penchant for, investment in. So these are eliminated. It's either 1 or 3, right? Now between 1 and 3, the change of attitude may be somewhat dash. What? So this, there is, people claim that their attitudes have changed, but this may be somewhat overstated. Their attitudes may not really have changed. And even if, let's say, you're unable to figure it out from the first blank, you can always look at the second one. Although it is now academically respectable to analyze popular films, the fact that many critics feel compelled to rationalize their own dash action, so their own dislike for action, does that make sense? Their own dislike for action in this context. So the critics feel compelled to justify, to rationalize their own, liking for action movies. So we are talking about action movies here. Um, they find it necessary that they have to explain it, why they like action movies. So penchant for action movies. And yes, investment in the old hierarchy of popular and art films. So it is only 6 that fits here. It's not about exposure. It is about their investment in the old hierarchy, that they are contributing to that old hierarchy, right? They are actually perpetuating that old hierarchy of popular and art films. Make sense? C is what everybody has stated. So I'm assuming that it made sense to all of you. If any word is not clear, if the answer is not clear, you can ask me. Dearth of sessions as such. Uh, it wasn't short, I would say. I usually take 50-minute sessions. So yeah, that is what that time was today also. All right, then I'll see you again. It's not like this was the last session. I'll see you again with one more session on vocabulary. And yes, I'll make it a marathon of sorts where I'll give you a time limit for attempting each question. All right. Okay then. Bye bye. See you.